in my experience, there's not many golfers who retire from golf and go play cricket or rugby or soccer for that matter, but there's so many cricketers and football players that come and play golf. And one of them is one of the leading cricketers in South Africa for many years, captained the Proteas of 86 test matches, over 5,000 runs, your debut in Australia in 2012. I mean, so much time has transpired, Dean, and now you're here in South Africa on a rest, playing for Essex. Yeah. Let's just talk about your cricket for a minute. You know, you had a wonderful career and you decided to stop at a point. What brought that about?
Firstly, thank you for having me, Dave. It's been a while since you moved. And now you're back here in the sunny Pretoria. It's awesome to see you and your missus. Yeah, I must say cricket's been my life, and if someone said to me you got 12 years to play for your country, I would have bitten my arm off. I've had 86 tests and 8 one-days. Don't forget about those.
Yeah.
If someone said you're going to play for that long for your country, I would have said you're talking nonsense. It's been an amazing journey in 12 years, and being able to captain the side for 18 months as well was something special. And what a journey! A boy from Welkom, and an English boy from Welkom. No one would have thought this. No one would have thought this story was possible, but it is actually possible. And I guess as a boy growing up, you dream about things, and dreams are real. And it became a reality.
One of the highlights which I was very privileged to watch was when you made 199 and got out with that milestone just a sort of a fingertips away. Yeah. What is that like?
I'll do it over again.
Yeah.
It's all good. It is what it is. Scoring a double 100 doesn't define you as a player or person. It would have been nice. It's just one of those things. But if you go through the whole background about how they came about, I was knackered. I batted for a day and a half. I was absolutely paced. It was hot. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we won the game. That's all I ever played cricket for, is to win games and win trophies and series. It's never been about my own performances. One run is not going to define you.
No, absolutely. And I think, and then when you take golf and run it parallel with what you achieved in cricket, and something that really stayed with me for a long time, we had a discussion one day and I mentioned how gutsy you are, because in one of the games you got hit all over your body, you looked terrible, and
thanks.
And I said to you kept your shirt on before, but you said to me, it's not about guts, it's about hunger.
Yeah.
How do you define the difference between those two emotions?
I think I'm a small person in stature. I don't have height. I don't have big biceps. It's never been. That's how I am. So the only way I can show presence is by being hungry. And people might not know what hunger means, but hunger is about going out there and showing presence of, even though you're bigger or greater than me, you're not going to outperform me.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a characteristic that's obviously been drilled into me when I was a kid by my dad. It doesn't matter how big you are.
Yeah.
Or it's about how you put yourself out there. And hunger for me is always, and that's why I still play cricket today. It's about being hungry. I've always wanted to. I'm not going to be the Jacques Kallis's or AB de Villiers. I know that. I want to be the best version of what I can be. And by being, people say gritty and all that, it's all cool, but for me, hunger is the only thing that can be the proper characteristic of defining everything.
You know, it's an amazing story, because when we look at golf, in particular in South Africa, and the amount of talent that we have, and the glaring problem for me is work ethic, and that's something that you've done it personally. You set a great example. You're captain of South Africa. You've gone on to play cricket now in Essex. You're influencing young people. What do you find as a motivational element that we can take to golfers and say, guys, if you work harder, if you have this hunger, if you have this idea, this passion, this vision, that you can achieve anything?
It might, in my head, it might sound funny, but in another person's head, it might not. I used to say to my schoolmates, while you guys are praying in church, I'm batting in the nets and trying to become a better player as a school kid.
Yeah.
So like they do that on a Sunday, I was in the nets for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So my work ethic was drilled into me like very, very early on. It was never forced. It was a self thing. And my dad was always there relentlessly. He was there feeding the bowling machine. And if you don't put the work in, you're not going to get anything out.
No, absolutely, and I think it's so difficult to define hard work, because my description, my idea of hard work is clearly very different to yours.
Yeah.
And the results are actually what defines what you've done.
Yeah.
And I think, to your point, I've been very fortunate to have an amazing father and an influence in my life, as you have. And I think there's some people that don't have that.
Yeah.
So where do you find that motivation? I suppose now, as a mentor to young players in another country, where you're sharing your expertise and your little nuggets of information.
It's a tough one. I'm actually sharing it in a place that I maybe don't want to share it.
Yeah.
I want to give back to South Africa, but there's no avenue for me to give it back.
Yeah.
But for now, those young kids in the UK are experiencing the best side of myself as a person and as a player. It's very difficult, but if you don't have that influence, there's many avenues now that are where young players are exposed. I wasn't exposed to the avenues that they have currently.
Yeah.
And if you in a very good place like Pretoria, Cape Town, Durban, Joburg, you have those avenues now. If you're talented, guys will pick you up. If you're a young golfer, guys will pick you up. If you're a young cricketer, you're gonna get picked up somewhere. I just had great backing by my dad, and and he also had like a bit of a passion of sport, because he played semi